God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows.
Welcome to season 3, episode 35 of Your Journey Is Not Over. My name is Tanya Pearson Randolph. This is my own personal journey. This is my healing journey, and the expressions and opinions are of my own. I own all the rights to my personal journey, to my healing journey, and to Your Journey Is Not Over. Neither of the three are to be used, copied, nor edited in any way without my consent. First off, let me apologize for canceling last week's episodes. Yes, it's totally unlike me to go off of my schedule, but I had overbooked my entire schedule last week. And with foresight, I just could not find a time slot that would allow me to write, to record, to edit, and produce, and get out 2 podcast shows. Time wise, it takes me 3.5 to 4 hours altogether to get one episode out. So, yes, it's very time consuming, but I had a very productive week last week, and now I'm back on schedule. So, welcome back, and thank you all for being patient with me when I do take unexpected breaks from the podcast. And thank you all so very much for joining me on my very own Yellow Brick Road, my healing journey. Now, jumping back into my struggles with anxiety, with panic attacks, and with depression, the fear of leaving my home completely. Other than I couldn't walk out my front door, I functioned normal within my city, my home. I had a schedule every single day. I bathed, I did my hair, I cleaned, I did laundry, I cooked, I baked. I was on my treadmill 5 miles a day. All those days and evenings alone. Never once did it enter my mind that my stored traumas, my unresolved traumas, my PTSD, my disappointments, my mistakes, my wrong turns, all got me to that very moment in my life. During this period of time, I can remember I began to snack more than ever. I would eat when I truly wasn't even hungry. Food brought comfort to me, and I now realize, of course, going without food so much in my life, and the most recent trauma from just a few years prior of exactly that. The lack of food, the starving, the feeling helpless and hopeless have most likely fueled my crave and my comfort that I then got from food. It was so reassuring to have food and be able to eat when and as much as I wanted to. My late husband knew what I'd endured as a child and right before we had gotten together. So he was so good at keeping the groceries and the snacks stocked up. Never a lack of, that's for sure. And again, it was so reassuring, so comforting to know that I no longer had to worry about going without. And again, the food brought me comfort from past traumas. It soothed my fears of having lack of. And in that process of food becoming one of my best friends, I gained 35 to 40 pounds in lockdown, the heaviest I've ever been in my life, with the exceptions, of course, when I was pregnant with my children. The comfort of having the food then turned into a habit of eating, even knowing I wasn't even hungry. What I want to convey is my trauma of the lack of food because I didn't know about traumas, about healing traumas. Well, then, that very trauma led me into an obsession of food, an extreme amount of weight gain. As they say, one thing really does lead to another, and that is so very true. It does, and it did with me. When we don't take the time to reflect, to understand, to heal, and to release our traumas, our fears, our insecurities, then they can lead us into other unhealthy habits. Now, looking back, I do understand how being in lockdown, alone 90% of the time, no knowledge of traumas or healing, no thought of reflecting back over my past. You run from it. You're ashamed of it. You tried to store it, to block it out your whole life. So who would think, let's just open that big old heavy suitcase and let's begin? I sure didn't. It goes against everything I knew, everything I was programmed to think and do from early on. As with most of us, right? We accept, we forgive, we move on. Most times, like nothing ever happened. We sweep it under the rug, we store it, we block it, and we carry on the best that we know how. So, rewiring my brain to say, yes, it's okay to begin to unpack that big, shameful, sinister suitcase, to sort out what was never meant for me, the guilt, the shame, the embarrassments, the humiliations that were never mine to carry. Those emotions and feelings belong to the ones who chose to do the things to me, to hurt me, to shame me, to embarrass me, to scare me, to traumatize me. We carry so much that truly is not ours to carry. We take that on, most like me, at very early ages. As I say, we start packing our shameful suitcases at a very early age. I did. So by the time I was 53 years old, standing in that ocean, April 16th, 2024, and I released it all to God. Can you even begin to imagine how heavy my suitcase was by the time in my life? It weighed 10 tons, I'm sure. I couldn't carry it anymore. It was no longer serving me. It had never served me my whole life. It was just weight I carried that no one seen, no one knew about. I hid it well, as I'm told now, and I'm also told I don't look like my traumas. All because I always had my faith and my trust in God. And I developed my own ways, as we all do, of storing, of compartmentalizing, and moving on with our lives the best that we could. Had someone told me while I was in lockdown that my traumas got me there, it would have made sense as to how one day, like a light switch, too. You're going through life, you're working, you're independent, you're confident, you're fearless, and the very next, you don't want to, or you have fear, as in my case, of even leaving the safety of your home. If you're suffering being locked in, suffering with panic attacks, with anxiety, please know it's a journey within itself to overcome it, to take back charge of your life, to get back out to your life, to join the world again. But you can do it. Nothing is impossible when it comes to God, and we are God's children first and foremost. And as the Bible states, those weapons may form, but they shall not prosper. And the devil loves when we are stuck. He found us at a weak moment in our journeys, where all of our hurt, our pain, our traumas, our unresolved traumas, our PTSD, the wrong turns, the disappointments, the setbacks, all collided at once, and it rendered us helpless. But please remember, not hopeless. As long as you have your faith, there is always hope, my grandma always said. While in lockdown, please pray more. Talk to God. Give all your hurt, your pain, your sorrow, your guilt, your shame to God. Release it and begin to heal yourself. I tell God every morning, thank you, Father, for carrying my burdens for me. I know they are extremely heavy, and I am grateful that you took those from me so that I no longer have to carry them. My load is so much lighter, as well as my heart, my soul, and my spirit. Also, it's never too late. One can never be too old to begin your very own yellow brick road, your very own healing journey. Another thing my grandma always said, and I'm sure glad I listened and I learned and I now can share too. She always said, as long as you're breathing, you're alive and you have more life left to live. So look forward always, child. I do own the rights to the things I chose to share today. I wrote them. Darkness is like a big dark cloud, but The sun's purpose is to burn through those dark clouds. So be the sun, strong and bright, and keep shining. We are in this world, not of this world. Life's a journey, and this is not our final destination. The opposite of depression is expression. Please journal. Get a life coach, a therapist, a counselor, even a friend, to be able to express yourself freely to. The more you step out of your comfort zone, believe it or not, the more comfortable you will become within yourself. To begin the journey of changes, we must first put on the boots of self-awareness. You are the architect of your own journey, so please create, build, design the journey you dream of. Anything is possible, of course it is. It's your journey, and your journey is not over. This concludes my podcast for today. Please join me Thursday. Listen in, and always remember, your journey is not over. God bless.
God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been